Let's talk about your credit report. For a lot of us, it feels like this big, mysterious thing, right? Just a three-digit number that somehow has this huge power over our lives. Well, today, we're going to pry open that black box. We're going to go from confusion to confidence, from mystery to mastery. So let me just ask you straight up, does your credit report tell the right story about you? Because that's exactly what it is. It's a story. It's the financial story that banks, landlords, even some employers read to figure you out. The real question is, are you in charge of writing that story? Or are you letting little mistakes and misunderstandings do the talking for you? Okay, here's a really simple way to think about it that makes a ton of sense. Your credit report, it's basically your secret financial resume. Seriously, it shows your track record, your experience with handling money. And just like with a job resume, you want it to be accurate, you want it to look good, and you want it to show off how responsible you really are.
And the stakes? They're really, really high. This isn't just about some small loan. We're talking about the biggest moments in your life, the interest rate on your mortgage, whether you get approved for that new credit card, or even getting the keys to that dream apartment. Heck, sometimes it can even pop up in a job application. So yeah, getting this right, it really matters.
Okay, first things first, let's start decoding your score. Let's figure out how that famous three-digit number actually tells its story.
So what is a credit score, really? Well, at its core, it's a number, usually somewhere between 300 and 850. And its whole job is to predict how you'll handle credit. You can think of it as a quick snapshot for lenders. It helps them guess how likely you are to pay back a loan on time. The higher the number, the safer you look. And you guessed it, the better deals you're going to get.
Now, this is where you can really take control. Your score isn't some random magic number, it's just math. And look at this breakdown. A whopping 35% is just your payment history. Did you pay your bills on time? Another 30% is about how much money you owe. So just add that up. 65% of your entire score comes down to those two things. That's huge. If you can just focus on paying on time and keeping your balances low, you are well on your way.
And here's something that trips a lot of people up. You don't actually have just one credit score. You might check your score on an app and see one number, but then a car dealership might see a slightly different one. That's totally normal. It's because there are different companies like FICO and VantageScore, and they all have slightly different recipes, kind of like software updates. So don't sweat it if the numbers vary a little.
All right, so you know what it is. Now, let's talk about your free annual checkup and where you can get the real story without paying a dime. Okay, a really quick but super important warning here. If you Google free credit report, you're going to see a ton of websites. But just like the official site says, don't be fooled by lookalikes. A lot of them are just trying to sell you something you don't need.
So let's cut through the noise. There is one and only one official website that's backed by federal law. I want you to remember this one. It's annualcreditreport.com. That's it. No gimmicks, no free trials that turn into paid subscriptions. This is the one.
And listen, this isn't some special promotion. This is your legal right. Thanks to federal law, you are entitled to a free report from each of the big three bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And right now, you can actually check them for free every single week. So know your rights and definitely use them. Okay, so you've pulled your reports. Now what? Well, now it's time to put on your detective hat. You've got to be your own best advocate when it comes to finding and fixing errors.
And here's some really good news, especially when it comes to medical debt. This is a big one. As of recently, any medical collection debt that's under $500 just won't show up on your credit report anymore. Period. This is a game changer for millions of people who had their score dinged by a small, unexpected bill.
And the good news keeps on coming. Even for those larger medical bills, there's now a 365-day grace period, a full year before an unpaid medical bill can even land on your report. That gives you a ton of breathing room to sort things out before it can do any damage.
So what happens when you're scrolling through your report and you see something that just makes you go, wait a minute, that's not my account, or I definitely paid that on time? Well, you have a superpower on your side. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA, and it gives you the absolute right to dispute anything on your report that's inaccurate or incomplete.
And the process is actually pretty straightforward. It's a simple two-step combo. First, you tell the credit reporting company, Experian or one of the others, about the mistake. Second, you also tell the company that reported it in the first place, what they call the furnisher. That's just a fancy word for the bank or the credit card company. Both of them are legally required to look into it.
All right, our last section. We've covered checking your report and fixing it. Now, let's talk about the path forward, how to build and protect your credit. First, let's clear something up that you've probably heard about: hard versus soft inquiries. A soft inquiry is like you checking your own score, or a company sending you one of those pre-approved offers in the mail. It doesn't hurt your score at all. A hard inquiry, on the other hand, that's when you actually apply for something new, like a mortgage or a credit card. It can ding your score a few points, so you don't want too many of those all at once.
But what if you're just starting out from scratch, or you're trying to rebuild? No worries, you've got great options. A secured card is awesome. It's like a credit card with training wheels, backed by a small deposit you make. A credit builder loan is cool because it works backwards. You make payments, and then you get the money, proving you're reliable. Or you could become an authorized user on, say, a parent's credit card and piggyback on their good history. And as you get going, just remember this one thing. As experience says, building credit is a journey. It's not a sprint. It doesn't happen overnight. It's all about making small, positive habits again and again. Every single on-time payment is a step in the right direction.
So, there you have it. The black box is wide open. The mystery is pretty much solved. You know what your report is, you know how to check it for free, and you know how to take control. You've got all the tools you need. So the only question left is, isn't it time for your credit checkup?